Hello and welcome to the second Nostalgia for 2019. It's Kingdom Hearts. We're here. I'm Brayden. This is my wonderful girlfriend Michaela. And this is my wonderful friend Steph. Steph, I met through Alex and Michael, who you've seen on the show before. And Steph is the first person I ever met in actual real life who raved about Kingdom Hearts as much as people rave about it online. Yeah. But, and Michaela and I had not played any.
No.
Until recently.
Yes.
So this should be interesting. Yeah. Now, I want to take a little bit of like an order to it as well. Also, most girl power we've ever had on Hack the Dino.
Woo! Yep.
So represent. Oops. But yeah, so I'm gonna start with one, even though that's not the start of the timeline, which we'll get to. Steph, because you actually played these when you were younger.
Yeah.
What did you think when you saw a game on the shelf which was Disney and Final Fantasy?
That's the thing. It is the absolute, like, it's the biggest novelty when you first think. As a kid, I probably played it when I was, I would say, about 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
And it was my sister's copy that she received. And just, like, seeing on the front, you see, like, the front cover with Sora there holding the Keyblade, like, against the moonlight. And you've got Donald, and you've got Goofy there, and you've got, like, and then these anime characters that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like, what is it? Like, it's like a new Disney movie.
That's what
it is.
It looks like an insane Disney movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's just, it's amazing. It's very exciting to think about it as a child and as an adult, like, just quietly.
Like, yeah, looking back on it as an adult, like, I look back to when I saw it on the shelf and I was like, that looks cool. And I just never actually played it or anything, which I kind of am upset about. But at the same time, I feel like I have a very interesting view on it now. You can definitely jump in.
I didn't know what Kingdom Hearts was about until maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it had Disney characters in it. I had no idea what it was. I'd heard people talk about it, but I hadn't really, like, gotten into it at all.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a real gamer person.
Not a real gamer.
Not a real gamer. But yeah, I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, so you would then look at this when I think I showed you for the first time. I was like, here's what this Kingdom Hearts thing is.
Show me the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3.
It's a Disney game with all these other people in it that you don't know. And your reaction...
What?
Yeah, exactly that. But try to think about it as if you were a kid and you actually noticed that and saw what it was. Do you think you would have gotten into it?
100% I would have played it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You play it as a child. Like, I played it as a kid, then I played it again as an adult when I bought the remix.
Yeah.
You're playing it for two different reasons. You don't get into the lore as much. You don't focus on, like, the intricacy of the storyline.
Like,
I'm just like,
Mickey Mouse.
look, yeah, it's Mickey Mouse. It's like, it's Ariel.
It's not Mickey Mouse till the end of the game, mind you. My God. Okay. So we're going to get into a little bit of our thoughts on, like, the actual game itself, because I went into this pretty positively. I was into this being like, yeah, I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna enjoy this. Start of that game.
Oh God, it takes.
So we played through it. We played through it together, so that we could experience it together and everything, and it didn't take double the amount of time out of our lives. And the first 2 and a bit hours when it's like on the island and there's not much going on,
and you gotta collect logs.
Yeah.
And water.
Search.
And then you gotta do that horrible race where it's so gypped and so rigged.
I tried. It took so many attempts for me to actually beat Riku in that moment.
I reckon we beat him once, then we didn't get to name our ship.
So we lost the first time, and it was like, oh, you don't get to name your ship, whatever. And it was
we
like,
wanted
okay.
to name it David Bodie.
David Bodie, which would have been amazing. Rip in peace to David Bodie that never got to live his first day.
What, Excalibur? Like, come on.
It was like,
come on,
oh,
Riku.
cool, whatever.
No.
And then we did it again, and we didn't get. And I was like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, he's a bad sportsman. He's like, too late.
Be that way. We were sad. But yeah, so once you get past that, and you actually get to some Disney characters, then we were pretty into it.
What about the tutorial at the beginning where it's really philosophical? It's like, who am I?
That was...
I
was very confused.
Very confused.
And they have, like, the murals of, like, the Disney, the princesses.
I liked that. That was really cool. Yeah. And I liked...
Doesn't seem like a kid's game.
No, it doesn't from that bit. Like, you'd expect a kid picking this up to be like, what?
Yeah.
What does this mean?
And then you go right into, like, fighting that giant Heartless.
Yeah, the massive Heartless that you get to later on.
You waste so much of your time on it thinking that, like, you have to beat it.
Oh, cool, this is great. And then you realise that
it's... It's like, oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just a tutorial, yeah.
So, and then it was... there were a couple times throughout number 1 where it was just like, what are we doing? And then you put up a like old IGN wiki article
From 2002.
Yeah, so like for me that was a throwback of nostalgia in itself, because as a kid I always used to go on IGN and look at like walkthroughs and cheats
Best
and
tips,
everything.
yeah.
100%. And seeing those old layouts of how IGN used to be is hilarious.
Yeah, and it wasn't a good one either.
It was not good.
Very, very
Shout out to I'll bring their name on the screen, whoever wrote the Kingdom Hearts wiki.
Congrats.
On IGN. But yeah, there were parts of that game that I just couldn't get past. We just couldn't figure out what to do next,
Like,
because there
where do
wasn't
we
a
go?
map.
Oh, okay. So like, you mean actually progressing the story,
Yeah.
not beating a boss or anything? Okay.
It just
Travis Town gets a bit confusing, like
Yeah.
right from the gate.
Yeah.
When
That's
there's a
when we had to
part
pull it
where
out.
it's
We were like, where do we go?
to lock the key, you have to ring a bell 3 times, and like I imagine as a kid, someone would be like, they ring the bell and see it change things, and they'd be like, oh, and then they jump down and go to it, and it's like, no, it didn't. You got to go back up now and do it again, and then again. There were so many confusing things.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Because
Yeah, it was
when the first time I played it as a kid, I never went back to the worlds and like locked the worlds. I never did any of that. But I'll always remember in Travis Town the bit that scared me to no end, and like I had to shut my eyes or leave the room and come back.
Yeah.
Once the cutscene finished, was when you have the first encounter with the Heartless,
Oh,
and there's that
yeah.
little townsman that's
Yeah.
running, and then he falls, and then the
Oh,
Heartless just
it's-
emerges from him.
Yeah.
It's dark.
That's to me is like he died.
There
Like,
are
that's,
some
like,
parts in this series
Yeah.
that get very dark very
Yeah.
quick,
Yeah.
and I was not really expecting that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was very.
It's a scary game.
Yeah,
it is scary.
it was a lot. And I imagine like a little kid, like being like a little sister or a little brother playing with their older sibling, like sitting next to them, or a neighbor or something. They would be sitting there going, okay, I'm now seeing like these like evil Disney characters. And like, it's really dark. And I love the worlds in number 1 though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
Because they caught me off guard with what they used. Like, they didn't go with like the top tier,
standard.
amazing classic Disney that everyone loved. They threw in like Nightmare Before Christmas and
Yeah.
things like
Yeah,
that.
that was cool.
That was really unexpected to me, and I liked it.
Were there any worlds that you found like particularly hard to beat?
There was some where, God, even just like starting out with different ones where it was like, okay, but what's the next thing we have to do?
Yeah.
And because there wasn't really a quest guideline where it's
No.
like, this is your next thing, and there wasn't a map in the
You've
corner.
got a choice of which world you want to go to. There are different paths.
And speaking of going between worlds,
The gummy ship.
the gummy ship can die in a fire.
No.
It's the
no,
worst.
no.
You weren't even playing the action. You weren't holding the controller. I
know.
And
I was just
you
sitting
hated
there
it
watching
too.
and it was a nightmare.
It went from and then it got better in the second one. Thankfully.
I have never ever constructed a gummy ship before.
God,
I
no.
don't
Neither
ever,
way,
like I
neither
sometimes
way.
you have to build the blocks. I
It,
can't.
it didn't make any sense. They tried to do a tutorial for it, and it was like,
What is this?
no.
I just
Yeah,
had my
Chip and
finger on the
Dale.
little square.
Dale.
Yeah.
Oh, I did love that they had Chip and Dale as the ship engineers. It was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
cute. But
We
Yeah.
appreciate that Goofy is like head of the royal guard as
Yeah.
well.
yeah, I do love how they've utilized all the different Disney characters, like the token Disney characters, into their own special
They are
world
the
that they've
royalty.
made.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
It's hilarious and it's so strange, and seeing them as like Donald's a wizard
Yeah,
who
he's the
never
cool
helps you properly and is always dead, and you have to revive him all the time.
Oh god, I always swapped him out for someone else. Always
I
swapped him
didn't
out.
learn that until halfway through Kingdom Hearts 1. And then it was like, oh, this is way better.
I actually
Yeah.
think Pinocchio, the
Yes.
Yeah.
The
that was
the
interesting.
whale.
Can't remember.
within the whale,
Yeah,
in-
that was an interesting
yeah.
world as well.
I did like that. I liked when, I think it was that world where they introduced like a double jump or a higher
Yeah,
jump and
yeah,
stuff.
to
And
get up to
instantly I
certain
was
things.
like, this
Oh.
feels so much better.
This is how you play a game.
This feels so much nicer as someone who's been playing video games for his entire life. This feels like how
It's a
video
really
games should feel.
unsatisfying jump that he
Yeah.
makes before he
Oh.
gets that like upgrade.
It was shocking. And also, combat was a bit to learn because it was like, oh, okay, what? It's like real-time RPG, but like I have to like quickly swap between if I need to do a spell and if I need to hit something, and it was a lot.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
Sorry, a boss battle that just jumped out that was really difficult. The three-headed dog of
In
Hercules
Hercules?
level.
Yeah,
Good
that was hard.
God,
Cerebus. Or...
Yeah.
That took you a while.
It
I
took
love that
forever.
though. I love the
It was
idea of just
cool.
going back to the Colosseum whenever you want, doing the missions,
missions.
Yeah. The fact they always had something for you to do there was really cool.
beating the
Yeah.
Cloud and getting your name up on the little board.
Yeah. Oh, Cloud was awesome. When Cloud first appeared, as someone
You
who's
were
like
so excited.
who's played some Final Fantasy games, like I recognize some characters. For some reason, even though I haven't played it since I was a kid and rented it from Blockbuster, I remembered Waka from Final Fantasy X, which
And he
scared
like
me.
looked it up. He was like,
It's like,
wait,
surely I didn't get that right.
surely this isn't right. And I like Googled it on the side and I'm like, no, that's
Nope,
right. And I was
it's
like
Waka.
side-eyeing you a little
Yeah,
bit.
it was. No, I'm surprised you didn't drop me on the spot because that is embarrassing. But yeah, when Cloud showed up, it was just like, oh, and he's like kind of like working for Hades, but not. And then
Oh, he's awesome. I'd never played Final Fantasy, but when he just like emerges onto the screen, you're like, this
Yeah.
guy means business.
yeah, he's a cool character.
Yeah.
He's very cool. But I like how they throw in all the Final Fantasy stuff in as well, and they make it fit within the animation style.
Yeah,
Which
it
is difficult.
melds. Yeah, you'd think it wouldn't work. You think, oh, Disney, Final Fantasy.
Yeah, the
What?
art styles are very different, but they found a nice middle ground.
Yeah.
I
between them.
I felt so safe and so homely in Travis Town again. Like,
Mm.
obviously, after being terrified by that cutscene initially, then you meet like Leon
Yeah.
and like Yuffie and
Yeah.
just all of the nice little Sid. Like, they all come together.
Yeah.
You get a little safe room. Like, that's like real homely.
It's
to
like,
me.
oh, it's nice. And then when they sort of take them to that other world in 2,
yeah.
so we'll jump onto 2 now because, like, yes, there's stuff in between. But don't
getting there, we're getting
freak
there.
out. We're getting there. I'm just hitting the major ones. 2, I instantly enjoyed so much more
Yeah.
from the beginning. Other than, well, this isn't Sora. I obviously knew who he was from the in-between games and everything. But it was like, okay, this isn't Sora, but my God, the game just feels so much better.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
because they gave me a map, they gave me quests,
They
and
learned-
like
they learned
told
from
me
their
what my
mistakes.
next objective was, and it just made everything so much easier.
And the town was quite nice. Like, Roxas and his
Yeah.
friends.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was
It was
nice.
really
Yeah,
cute.
it was
and
cool.
You actually felt a little bit sad once that ended. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, cool, we're back
It's
to
like,
Sora, which is super
okay.
exciting at the
Being
same
there
time.
with Roxas. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, popsicles hold this really weird deep cut for everyone in Kingdom Hearts.
Sea
world.
salt popsicles.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, is that an actual thing in real life?
I think so.
get like
maybe.
salty licorice and things like that. Like, that's
Okay.
popular, but
Yeah,
I've never tried it.
because they said sea salt like popsicle, and I was like, that's an interesting mix, but you know, it might be
Maybe,
nice.
maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 I really liked. However, this was like a little insight to how much I'd been trying to get through this. We borrowed your copy of the PS4 HD remakes of 1.5 and
2.5.
2.5 as the like final mix,
Yeah.
and all the in between things.
Yeah.
Well, not all of them. There's the other thing, which we'll get to. But, so we borrowed that off you, and we'd been playing through it. We did one, finished that. The in-between things, which I have off to the side here so that I can remember, I think was
Chain of Memories.
Chain of Memories and
360,
58.
Three-
8 by 2.
525. Yeah. But yeah, so that one, we watched everything that happened with those because we did not have enough time to actually play these games.
Well, 358 by 2 is just a movie anyway
Yeah.
because it was made, I think, for the DS.
Yeah,
and
it was.
the mechanics wouldn't have like
it
they
wouldn't have
wouldn't
transferred over.
to the PS4 so well. So they just like, here are all the cutscenes.
Here's everything
Yeah.
together that you need for the
Yeah.
story. So we just watched that, and then we got into 2, and we have not finished 2. We
barely
tried.
started to.
We've
We've gotten through a little bit.
We tried to fly through it, and I was like, okay, Michaela, how much longer have we got?
And I'm like, do you want to know how long we've got?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, well,
Surely it's only like a couple worlds.
17 more worlds to go.
Yeah.
They expanded.
Yeah, they brought
which
it out.
I was not expecting. I thought it'd be like the same amount of worlds, just some different ones, and I was like,
However,
okay, cool.
we're like halfway through part 1 of it.
Yes.
So, and then there's part 2 and you go back to all the other worlds again.
Yeah, but it was still just like, okay.
Kingdom Hearts 2, something that will always infuriate me is as Pete being like one of the little like
Yeah.
the chasers, like the old dance little like
Yeah.
he's harmless. He's a
He's
harmless
classic.
villain. When you go into the black and white world for a minute and you have to go through, did you do that where you go through all the little doors?
So we
No,
legitimately
that's Steamboat Willie. We're
didn't
about
even
to
get up to that. And when Michaela told me that, like, that's something that I've missed out on going into this, I was like, that is amazing.
Steamboat Willie, that
Yeah.
entire thing of going through getting little mini games is
Yeah.
infuriating.
Infuriating, really?
I
Oh
love
God,
that.
I can't handle it. It's too hard for me to
Okay,
handle.
okay.
It's-
Do-
but I do like how the animation changes slightly.
Okay, good. That's what I was hoping. I was
Yeah.
like, do they at least play with, like, because when they go to, like, Halloween Town, they get their different costumes and stuff. And
Yeah, they're a bit old timey.
yeah, so that's awesome.
Donald and Goofy go right back to their like original
Oh,
look.
that's so
Damn
cool.
it. Okay, now I have to actually keep
Yeah, you
We'll
have to
finishing.
finish
finish
this.
Yeah. So before we play 3,
Which we are
which-
going to. We're
which
going to play
we're,
3.
We're invested now because, like, after all this time, how could I not play 3
Exactly.
after all of this? Which I think we might stream. We'll see what we
Maybe.
do.
Yeah.
That might be coming up. Fix my Australian internet first. But
NBA.
yeah, I love what they do where they're changing up. They didn't do it a lot in 1 with like going to the different worlds until you got to like the last couple.
You got to Atlantica.
yes,
which is Little
Atlantica
Mermaid.
with Little Mermaid.
And then you're like, oh, cool, they've got tails.
Yeah. And Donald's like a little octopus.
But they were all exactly the same
And-
until then.
And Goofy's, just a turtle.
He's Goofy's head.
it's so fitting though at the same
It
time.
was,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it
So,
really
like-
was. But yeah, 100%. It was like, oh, I haven't seen many of the like different animation changes or anything, or like look changes. And then we got to Atlantica, and it was like, ah, yes, finally. And then after that was Halloween Town.
Halloween Town
It was
was
like, yes.
dope.
And then they've been like playing on that even more in the more recent ones.
Like even the menus change in like Kingdom Hearts 2.
I loved that.
Yeah, that was
It
cool.
it gives you the option to go back to the basic menu of the first game, or go back to the like the bleh. Go back to the second one's like changing the menu style depending on what world you're in, and it was like, who would want to change that?
Did you read much of Jiminy Cricket's journal when you played?
Little bits and pieces.
Little bits. There was like a million Ansem notes or something,
Yeah.
and
See, that was my procrastination. Like, if I was getting infuriated, like Ursula
just
was one of my
read-
least favorite. I'd be like,
Oh,
time to read.
Ursula was
Time to
hard.
catch up on Jiminy.
yes,
Like, let's see what he's
just
doing.
like, okay,
Catch up on
let's
Jimmy.
read everything that we've done so far and see if we pick up anything else.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like reading about the
Yeah.
different Heartless, and then he goes through and he documents each of the different
Yeah,
like
it's really
versions
cool.
of it. Yeah.
I like that. Yes. So before we get into talking about 3, like, and what we have seen of 3 already, and what we'd like to see, and everything like that, all of these in between games that we've slightly mentioned, and this, as someone who had heard about Kingdom Hearts purely through other people on the internet referring to the series, I feel bad for it because it sort of gets looked on as a bit of a joke. And it's just like, oh, Kingdom Hearts, you got to watch 8 movies and play 40 DS games, and it's not that bad, but it's a lot.
It's
It
pretty
is a lot.
bad.
Like I was saying to Michaela earlier,
Yeah.
if you didn't buy the remixes, you would have to own like every console under the sun to get the story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd need a
It's li-
PSP, a DS,
A Game Boy
Game
Advance.
Boy.
Game Boy Advanced, a PS2, there's something else in there as well. Was there one on the Wii or something? No,
No, there wasn't
No,
any on
I'm
the
thinking
Wii.
of a different
I hope
series. But yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot to, and
I'm glad they've condensed them into like, here is the compilation.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
That
was
was probably the smartest thing they've done.
that is a huge thing for them. Is like, I'm pretty sure majority of the people going into, I say majority, not majority, but like a lot of people going into like, oh, 3 looks really good. I never went and did the first ones. I heard about them and everything. That HD remaster was the smartest decision they could
Yeah.
have made.
Perfect time.
And yeah, it's very clever to throw everything together, even where it's like, okay, the game mechanics don't work, but we're just gonna throw all the story in there, so then you can still catch up and see everything
That's
that
right.
happened.
It's still not even enough. You still have to like
Not quite.
read.
You gotta like read wikis and be
Yeah.
like, where was that character at this time, and
Who was this?
who is this character?
This person's changed like 4
These
times.
hearts merged. Now they're a
Yeah.
different person.
and these people split, but then these other people are together. Yeah,
and they formed nobodies while they were split.
Yeah,
It's
this
just,
person is
uh,
this person who is also this person who's controlling this person.
yep, yep.
It's really not a kid's game at the end.
No.
of
It's
it.
really not. Other than visual,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not for kids.
Even the concept of like heart, darkness, the
Yeah.
princesses being like pure, and then you've got the darkness. Like it's a bit.
it's a
a lot.
bit much, but like, I mean, we're saying that as like our generation, like kids nowadays, like I work in a bookshop and kids are like Five Nights at Freddy's book, and they're like 4.
No.
And it's like, oh cool, you just got out of a stroller and you're watching these games that I don't even like play
too
or
scared.
watch.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
They're not that bad.
These kids nowadays are ruthless.
Ruthless.
But yeah, and so seeing all of that and seeing the crazy visuals that they get, and then 3 just looks gorgeous.
Oh, 3 looks beautiful.
Like from
Big step up.
I'm
trailers
so
that they've shown.
excited.
Well, there's been quite a few years between, I think.
It has
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
It's like a decade almost.
Yeah,
really.
development time is a
I
lot.
reckon we worked. It was what 2006 maybe that number 2 came out.
Something like that.
It was
Yeah,
pretty.
it was
pretty early.
Yeah,
there was
because
only
there
like
was-
3 or 4 years in between 1 and 2.
3 or 4 between first and second. So
Yeah.
it's something like a decade, more or less. I'll bring it up on the screen. But yeah, it's just it looks incredible on this new engine
Oh, it
that they've
looks
got and
beautiful.
everything, and I'm really excited to see how the combat feels because
There's going to be a lot of combat in this one.
I initially was like, this is weird combat, but then I eventually really started liking it. And then when I started 2 and they took away my slide ability, I was really angry because that thing was the best thing ever. And then I had to earn it again, and I was like, finally, now combat's good again. But yeah, it looks stunning.
It looks
Story
amazing.
wise, what do you have any like predictions on what you think it's going to be? Is going to be the main plot line for it?
I haven't seen anything, and like I feel like as someone personally who hasn't finished 2, I can't really say myself. Like I think you said you read
I read a lot.
on what happened because you
Yeah.
like knowing things before you even experience
Yeah, I'm
them.
a weird person. I like spoilers. I enjoy spoilers.
Yeah.
I think
Everyone's
like
just
I was
like,
like reading it
stop
on the way
watching.
here.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I'm not sure if you think the same, but the idea of how like now they've uncovered what the real secret is
Yeah.
about the Organization 13.
Yeah.
And how they actually want to fight the princesses of
Yeah.
the 7 princesses to make that 7-13 balance to create the X-Blade. Like I think that's what's gonna that's what's gonna be happening. Like they're gonna be going full force into that. Like the secret's out. They don't need to like condense it or keep it shrouded in mystery anymore. Like they're doing it. It's all in action. So that's what
Yeah.
I think. I think there's gonna be a lot of action in this.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Okay.
That sounds pretty
As someone
good.
who hasn't even finished 2, that sounded awesome.
You're like, what is Organization 13?
No, so I know what Organization
I'm joking.
13 is, but that sounds really damn cool.
Yeah.
And like that sold me on 3 even more now. So
I
now I
could be
actually have to
wrong,
finish.
but-
No, but like even if it's anything close.
Yeah, no, that sounds
awesome.
probably in the way they're gonna go.
Yeah.
I feel
Unless they're gonna like bring out another one.
and go completely different. Yeah.
Yeah. and they're
be
just gonna like drag it out a bit
it's-
longer.
It's
Yeah.
another thing. Actually, yeah, that's an interesting thing. Do you think they'll try to keep it going, or do you reckon it's sort of living its final
think-
days?
The people that they're trying to market to, like, you know, kids these days won't be attracted to the animation style of the original 1 and 2. So I think they're probably getting it to come to a
Yeah,
close.
it's
It's
like,
taken them
finish
a decade to come up with number 3. Like,
Yeah.
they're going to want, I
And
think
I feel like
this will
they've
be the
been
end.
marketing it and advertising it a lot.
Especially with
Yeah.
their newer stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're like, hey, we got Frozen, and hey,
Yeah.
we got Toy Story.
It's sort of like the
Entangled.
reunion that you get for all the original people that are like, I just want it one more time.
Yeah.
Like, one last hurrah. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, which is literally what we have here, where like we had someone who had experienced it as a kid
Yeah.
and has heaps of nostalgia for it, and people who don't, but really enjoyed it,
Yeah.
and are looking forward to it. So I find that really cool. Like
Yeah.
it's this weird mix of worlds, and
I'm hoping you guys like number 3. I'm sure I'm going to love
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
no matter what. I'm biased.
yeah. Are you getting it like
I'm going to pre-order it.
As soon as
I'm
it's
gonna,
released
like,
and everything?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll be
Yeah.
one of the first to play it.
awesome?
Yeah, we'll be getting it as
Well-
soon as we finish number 2.
Yeah, I have to finish the second one, which I will do.
We will.
We'll do.
You'll get
will.
there.
Yeah, and I'll enjoy it. So awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on
Thanks for
Nostalgia.
having me. Thank you.
I know this is a little bit weird and very different for everyone who's used to seeing 3 dudes,
The lads.
the lads.
Improvement. Yeah.
yeah.
Improvement.
Yes.
Yeah, getting some not testosterone in here is great. Honest to God, it's excellent. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. Go and check out all the other episodes of Nostalgia that we've done and everything from last year. There's heaps more coming this year, so keep an eye out to like every major release that's coming out because we're trying to do heaps of episodes. The list is like just growing by the like every release date they announce, so it's exciting times. Awesome. Thank you. Bye.